Who remembers how during the Biden administration, the Trump people and the MAGA people just so bitterly complained about and criticized Biden? Who remembers that? Does anybody remember their rhetoric? It wasn't just criticism, it was hysterical and apocalyptic. The language framed Biden not as a normal political opponent, but as an existential threat to America's survival. Kind of how I feel this administration is all of that now. It's almost like everything they complained about Biden about is actually true about them. Who would have ever thought? But the conservative media, Fox News, One America Now, whatever it's called, Newsmax, they amplified it daily, creating a constant loop of Biden equals national catastrophe. And in the end, people hear it. They don't know if it's true or not, but they hear it so much, they think, well, must be true. So let me give you just 4 or 5 stories from today alone that show that all the things they criticize Biden about are actually true about them. Yeah, let's just look at what the news is today and see if some of these things that they used to accuse Biden of aren't more true about this administration. He's socialist, he's anti-freedom, he's destroying our freedoms, he's destroying our rights, he's violating the Constitution at every turn. Look at this. Judge rules today that Trump can't act as national police chief. Hmm. I don't remember Biden ever being charged with something like that. But let's take a look. A federal judge has declared President Trump's use of military troops in Los Angeles illegal, barring the Pentagon from using the National Guard and members or National Guard members and Marines from performing police functions like arrest and crowd control. Posse Comitatus, anyone? In a 52-page ruling, U.S. District Court Judge Charles Breyer warned that Trump appears intent on creating a national police force with the president as its chief. A federal judge, said the president is trying to be the police chief of a national police force, something we've never had in this country, something that is closer to communism and socialism and dictatorship than anything Biden ever even contemplated. And yet MAGA sits on the sidelines and says, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. They don't want to hear it. They don't hear it. You can shout it into their ears and they don't hear it. Let's take a look at the law. Because if you accuse Trump of being a lawless president, you got to show it. So we know he wants to send troops to American cities to enforce domestic laws, right? The Posse Comitatus Act of 1878 bars the military from enforcing domestic laws without explicit permission from Congress. Now, the Congress is in his hands. So just go get the permission and then you're within the law. Why doesn't he do that? Is it possible there's some small number of congressmen that wouldn't vote for it and he wouldn't be able to pass it through the Congress? I hope that's true. I really do. But the judge said, despite this restriction, the Pentagon systematically, get this, used armed soldiers to perform police functions. And he details them below. Um, and he noted that Trump has expressed his desire to use similar tactics in other cities across the country. That's right. Now look at this. Breyer's ruling bars the Pentagon from ordering, instructing, training, or using the National Guard currently deployed in California and any military troops there heretofore deployed in California from engaging in, get this is what they engaged in. And he's now forbidding them from engaging in these activities that they've already done. Uh, Participating in arrest, apprehensions, searches, seizures, security patrols, traffic control, crowd control, riot control, evidence collection, interrogation, or acting as informants without demonstrating that they have permission from Congress. He's in fact not even saying they can't do it. He's saying they can only do it if they get permission from Congress. So you can do it if you get the permission, which is what's required by the law. I'm sure he would look. Trump's going to say, "Oh, he's a liberal judge. He was appointed by Bill Clinton back in the '90s. He's a far leftist." If he was a far leftist, I'm sure he would want to say, you can't do it at all. I don't care if you get permission from Congress. But this is a judge following the law, even though I know in his heart, I feel certain in his heart, just like in the hearts of the vast majority of Americans, nobody wants this to happen. No one wants the military used on our nation's streets as a police force. None of us want that. Not even the Trump supporters want that. And I'll tell you, you know how to prove it? Because if Biden did it, they would be bitterly complaining about it. They would never put up with it. So they don't even want it. Everybody knows this is bad. So the judge knows it's bad. He would love, I'm sure, in his heart to forbid this no matter what, whether Congress approved or not. But he didn't say that in his order. In his order, he probably went against what's in his heart because the law doesn't follow what's in all of our hearts. The law says if Congress approves, then it can be done. So he said, if you want to do it, get congressional approval. Now here's what Trump says. Of course, the White House spokesman Anna Kelly said while far left courts, he's always positioning it as far left. They hate the far left. While far left courts try to stop President Trump from carrying out his mandate to make America safe again, the president is committed to protecting law abiding citizens, and this will not be the final say on this issue. Okay. What's far left about following the law, even though it doesn't go as left as you might like it to go? It's not a far left judge. This is not a lawless judge. This is a judge who is following the law as it's written. The law says you can only do that if you have congressional approval, and that's what the judge said. Now, Trump says, look, I have a mandate from the people to make America safe again, and I can do it any old way I want. Well, that's not what the Constitution says. If you want to be a truly great leader, if you want America to be truly great, then honor her laws above your will, Mr. President. Protect her institutions above your pride and cherish dissent as a safeguard of freedom. Now, speaking of dissent, we're going to get into something along those lines right here. ABC News is in the news again. President Trump says, pay me more. He explodes at ABC after Donna Brazile tears into his record. Just imagine if you're MAGA, imagine Biden tearing into some conservative media person like, or not even conservative, let's just say what it is, radical right-wing media person. I say this as a person who grew up conservative and was conservative all my life until Trump came along in 2015. Literally, that's when everything started to switch. But look, she is criticizing him. And, in the past, presidents were strong enough to take it and they were secure enough to take it. But not this guy. He's like, how dare you say anything negative about me? That's the lifeblood of our country. It's called free speech. Free speech. And I know MAGA people, when they felt they were getting clamped down on during the Biden years, they complained bitterly about their free speech being taken away. They would do anything for free speech. You can't ask for it for yourself and not demand it for everyone else too. So Trump wants to take free speech away. He's attacking it at every turn, every chance he gets from all different angles, from, his public statements, his complaining, his lying about the media. He's attacking it on a legal front in several different ways. And this is not what America's all about. No country is made great when speech is not free. When the people are not allowed to criticize their leaders, no country is great. Those are called dictatorships, and most of them are called third world countries. And they're not great because when you can't criticize the leader, then the leader can do whatever he wants. And leaders love to do really bad things to the people because it helps them. And if no one's going to criticize them, they can get away with it. And that's exactly what they do. All right. President Donald Trump lashed out at ABC News late Saturday night, demanding the network fire contributor Donna Brazile. And he demanded more compensation for criticism of him, referring to ABC's 2024 defamation suit when they paid him 15 or $16 million. They contributed that to his presidential library. Wow. This came just hours after Brazile, the former DNC chairwoman, appeared on ABC's This Week to slam his axing of Secret Service protection from former Vice President Kamala Harris as petty and vindictive. And it is. I was not a Democrat all my life, but that's petty and vindictive. Let her have the protection. What, what president before this withdrew Secret Service protection from former presidential candidates like that? Just pulled the rug out from under them. Not only petty and vindictive, but very dangerous, very dangerous. She also had the gall to attack tariffs, which he said had created a level of uncertainty that the American people can't afford. That's all true. But Trump fired back by questioning why ABC employed her at all, before insisting that the broadcaster owed him more money after her latest remarks. I'm not going to read everything he said, but down here in the yellow, he said she and sloppy Chris Christie should be fired from a highly discredited ABC fake news operation. They just paid me $16 million for inaccurate reporting. Now they should pay me more. Thank you for your attention to this matter. What is with thank you for your attention to this matter? It sounds like a child who's trying to feel important. He's already important. He's the president. My daddy used to say, if you have to tell him you is, you ain't. So apparently he feels like he ain't for some reason. I don't know. But look, to constantly attack these media organizations like this and constantly threaten them with multi-million dollar lawsuits and billion-dollar lawsuits, it has the net effect of chilling free speech. And that's dangerous. Look to every country that's done that, and they've all gone downhill. That is not how you make a nation great. Here's another way you don't make the nation great. The Pentagon authorizes up to 600 military lawyers to serve as temporary immigration judges. What's up with that? Look, the one question I haven't heard anyone ask, no one's asking this question. Who's going to take their place in the military? Who are going to be the lawyers and judges in the military now? I know they have more than that, but you take 600 away. That's surely they had work when they were there. Who's going to do the work they were doing now? And how the heck are they trained to be an immigration judge? What, you can't just take somebody from one area of law and place them in the other and expect them to be an expert in it. They're not. The law is like a thousand different things. If somebody tells you they're a lawyer, you got to know what kind of lawyer, a divorce lawyer, a real estate lawyer, a banking lawyer. I mean, law has thousands of different specialties because each specialty takes a lifetime to learn. Point being, you can't just take military lawyers and bring them into a civilian court and a specialty area of the law called immigration and expect them to know what they're doing. It's ridiculous. And then the void that they're going to leave in the military, who's going to fill that? Or are you saying they were doing truly unimportant work in the military? So we didn't need them after all. So let's just get rid of them. Why are we wasting that money? Why didn't what was that guy's name? Oh yeah, Elon Musk. Why didn't he take care of that? Doge, get out of here. All right. So Brother Pete has agreed to send up to 600 military lawyers to the Justice Department to serve as temporary immigration judges. And the military will start by sending 150 judges, both military and civilians, as soon as practicable. The effort comes as the Trump administration more regularly turns to the military as it cracks down on illegal immigration through ramped up arrests and deportations and this and that. It should concern every American, Republican and Democrat and liberal and conservative and secular and religious. It should concern all of us that he's using the military to do all these things. Have you ever heard of a military dictatorship? Again, another sign he wants to be a dictator. All right. Now, let's look at this story from Bloomberg. ICE to gain access to Paragon spyware. Paragon is a company that makes spyware after Biden order dropped. All right. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is on track to gain access to spyware designed to hack phones and read private messages after the Trump administration reactivated an ICE contract for spyware from Pentagon. So from Paragon, sorry, not the Pentagon, from Paragon. Biden dropped this contract. Trump has picked it up. Gee, I wonder who's clamping down on our freedoms. Was it Biden? You guys were all hysterical over Biden, all apocalyptic over Biden, cracking down on our freedoms, destroying our freedoms. And look at this. After 9/11, I can't believe that was 24, 25 years ago now. 9/11, the government, the Bush administration that passed all that. What was the law called? Anyway, I forget what the name of it. But anyway, he passed the new strict laws and it created the Department of Homeland Security. And all the pre-Trump people, the pre-MAGA people, the pre-Tea Party people, these are the people who later became Tea Party and then became MAGA. They all said, "Oh, you're willing to trade your freedom for security. You're going to lose your freedom. You're going to lose your freedom." Now we have a company that makes spyware that can get into your phone and crack it open and see everything that you've been doing on your phone. Not a word, right? No problem. No problem. Trump's doing it. It's all good. It's all good. One last story: law, freedom, incompetence, corruption. Look at this. Jeanine Pirro extends losing streak as grand jury refuses to indict a woman accused of threatening Trump. I don't know what the whole essence of this story is, but she brought it to court. She tried to get an indictment and she failed. The Justice Department almost never fails when they go to get an indictment because the standard of proof is much more relaxed than it is in court. It's okay, I'll get this wrong. I'm not a lawyer, but in court, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt before someone can be convicted of a crime. But to get an indictment, it's like something lesser than that, the preponderance of the evidence or something like that. But it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. So the standard that you have to rise to get an indictment is much lower than the standard you have to rise to get a criminal conviction in court. All right. So they always have their buttoned up. They got their work done. They've done their homework, and they're ready to go when it comes time to get an indictment because they already know they have enough evidence to get an actual conviction. So to get an indictment, it's very simple. But in this case, Jeanine Pirro, the Fox News host, Judge Jeanine, was dealt another blow by a Washington, D.C. grand jury. Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., brought charges against Natalie Rose Jones in mid-August for allegedly threatening to kill President Donald Trump, but Jones's public defender sought on Monday to have her sent home after the grand jury refused to indict. So, like I say, I don't know what exactly happened in this story, but I bet you it was something like this. It's something about things she posted online, like on Instagram and things. I think she said I think she called Trump a terrorist. Oh, that got under her skin. Somebody, a random person online called me a terrorist. Go file a case against them, Jeanine. Put them in jail. And Jeanine said, "Yes, sir. Aye, aye, sir. Right away, sir." So she goes to court. But of course, there's not enough evidence because the lady probably was just talking like people do. Oh, he's a big terrorist. We got to vote for somebody else next time. So she goes to court trying to get an indictment saying he threatened to kill the president. And the grand jury looked at it and said, "Are you kidding? Get out of here. This is dumb." Anyway, the grand jury returned a return of a no bill, meaning there was no indictment. So she couldn't indict. If you can't even get an indictment, your evidence isn't even good enough to get an indictment. You've got no chance of walking into a courtroom and getting a conviction. These people are so incompetent, so unqualified for these jobs, right? And they're so corrupt that they don't care. They're going to go and try to do the bidding of the president, no, regardless of how it violates the law. Look what Pirro said before she tried to bring these charges. Before she tried to get an indictment, she crowed about bringing the charges in a clip she posted to social media, making a big to-do of it on social media. It's all show. It's all show. No competence to get the real job done. Uh, she said she declared Jones's threats were on Facebook and Instagram, and she continued to call the president a terrorist and was working to have him eliminated. She's now in custody. She'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Make no mistake about that. These people get on, they talk so angrily, like they're so angry. We're going to get these enemies of the president. Look, there's real crimes being committed out there, I guarantee you, across this nation that are being ignored right now for all this political BS, for all this, you got to be 1,000% loyal to the president, and your job is to protect him. The whole Justice Department has turned into his personal, private police force to protect him from all kinds of whatever he doesn't like. It's all going to fall apart. This is not, look, the results of these kinds of things, the consequences aren't overnight, but they will come. You can't have the whole Justice Department focusing on non-cases to appease the president's feelings and not have bad things start to happen a few months, a few years from now, when serious crimes start taking place that don't even get noticed by the Justice Department because they were distracted by all these fake crimes uh, that come out of a thin-skinned president's mind. All right. Now, who knows what I'll be charged with? I just said some not totally nice things about the president. So hopefully I don't get charged with something. But anyway, we're all at risk. Even MAGA is at risk. When you want a country to be run like this, it's not going to stop at these people who don't like the president. And it's not going to stop at immigrants. It's not going to stop. It'll go throughout our society and it's going to hurt everyone. This is not how you make a country great. This is how you destroy a great country. So congratulations, MAGA. We're well on the way to the opposite of what I think you wanted. I hope you pull back. I hope you withdraw your support from these people before it's too late. Let's stop them now. It's getting late, very, very late. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.